something we all try to take less of in Minecraft PvP. But how do you really reduce your knockback? So, in this video, I'll be showing you everything about Minecraft Bedrock's knockback system so you can become unstoppable at Minecraft PvP. Clearly knowing how knockback works in Minecraft PvP can help you understand why certain things work and some things don't. Knockback works like this. Whenever you get hit, the game adds a fixed amount of velocity to your current movement, pushing you backward. This added velocity doesn't change, it's always the same per hit. However, the total knockback you take depends on how much velocity you already had before getting hit. If you're sprinting, jumping, or falling, you already have momentum, so the knockback stacks on top of that. I'll use a simple chart to explain it in the simplest way. You see, knockback is added onto your current velocity, so that's why jump resetting and hit selecting work so well, because they maximize your momentum over your opponent. Jump resetting is a core mechanic in Bedrock PvP that can dramatically change the outcome of trades. And even though it's been around for ages, most people still only know the very shallow basics on how to actually perform different types of reducing methods. To perform a jump reset just before the second hit happens or the moment your feet are just about to touch the ground, press jump. This exact timing will soften the knockback because the game registers your momentum as the start of a sprint jump, adding velocity on top of that movement. Jumping at the point of landing is what we call a jump reset. Make sure that you're holding W while performing a jump reset, or sprinting forward, whatever device you're on. Hitting your opponent right after the jump reset should be what you're trying to do. To make your resets even more consistent, use movements like W tapping or S tapping just before landing to control your distance. This creates more space between you and your opponent, helping you outreach them. Avoid sprint jumping unless you're following up aggressively when your opponent is running, since it adds forward velocity that can interfere with timing. But jump resetting isn't the only reducing method. Remember, a key thing is a jump reset will not work if you are not on the ground. Also, I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers, so a sub will be greatly appreciated. Back to the video. Hit selecting is one of the most underutilized mechanics in high-level Bedrock PvP. Despite its massive impact, it's more than just hitting second. It's about mastering timing, momentum, and spacing. A hit select occurs when you intentionally delay your hit so that your opponent strikes you first. This means you begin to descend earlier, meaning you land sooner, reset faster, and are able to re-engage with a jump reset before your opponent. Their sprint is cut short by their own hit, while yours continues until you hit, giving you the momentum advantage. To perform a basic hit select, let your opponent hit first. Then hit back immediately as you hear or see the hit land. Follow it with a jump reset to initiate a pickup. This creates a situation where you're grounded and stable while they're in the air and vulnerable. Advanced hit selects take this concept further. You don't always need to hit second, you just need to hit shortly after your opponent. A common advanced technique that I use is to start with a 3-block hit to stay out of their melee range. This is best against people that time click and hit select loads, as they don't usually try to get the first hit. They try to hit select. This only works if your opponent delayed their hit by too much. You see, if they don't hit you back as soon as they hear the sound, strafe in and time your second hit just after theirs. Pairing this with a jump reset or counter strafe often results in a guaranteed pickup. Also, late hits are especially powerful when both players are trading. By slightly delaying your hit, you gain vertical control and can reset more effectively. However, wait too long and you risk getting comboed. This technique works best when combined with long-range hits and evasive movement. These are some tips for hit selecting. Hit selecting only works if both players hit at the same time after the delayed hit. Strafing into a hit select can be very overpowered, normally helping you get closer to your opponent, giving you more of a momentum advantage. Counter-strafing. Counter-strafing is one of the most important techniques in Bedrock PvP. While strafing is all about unpredictability and dodging hits, counter-strafing takes it a step further. It's about breaking your opponent's rhythm and disrupting their movement mid-trade. At its core, counter-strafing relies on directional manipulation, suddenly switching your movement from one side to the other at the perfect moment. Since most players aim by prediction and rhythm, they tend to track where you're going based on your last few movements. By sharply switching directions just before or after taking a hit, you cause them to miss their follow-up or delay their hit timing, giving you a small window to reset or land your own counterattack. This is especially effective during close-range fights, where most players rely on muscle memory rather than visual tracking. The thing is, it's not just good for movement though. By reversing your strafe direction right as you're hit, you can reduce the efficiency of the knockback your opponent applies to you. Instead of stacking cleanly with your movement, your knockback gets spread, partially concealed due to the directional conflict. This slows you down just enough to land faster, reset sooner, and position for a jump reset or pickup, all while disrupting their tracking. Alternatively, if you counter-strafe just before the hit lands, you often cause your opponent to miss entirely. Since most players predict your position based on your current strafe direction, this is why top players don't just move randomly, they choose precise timings to break aim patterns, especially when they expect to lose a trade. So, while you can counter-strafe at any point in a fight, doing it as or right after your hit is often the most valuable. Combine it with a jump reset, delayed hit or spacing tap. The better your hit registration is, the less time the player you are fighting will leave the hit cooldown. This is an example of bad hit reg. The time in between the red is very long, but this is almost perfect hit reg, where I'm hitting so basically the player is always red. This is how to get perfect hit reg. Clicking a multiple of 2 helps you get better hit reg, because it aligns better with the server's tick rate. Try not to spam click 6 to 7. Use methods like time clicking. This is amazing for hit reg if you can master it. And also drag clicking is incredible because of the amount of CPS you can click. And also butterfly and jitter are really consistent. Ping affects how fast the server processes your hit. So this means being on super low ping makes having good hit reg very easy. But if you're on super high ping, that's inconsistent. It makes it very hard to master your hit reg. I'm making a video on this, so I'll clear ping up then. Precision in aiming is vital. If you're going for the first hit, aim at the neck or upper chest. This increases your chance of landing the hit cleanly and increasing your hit registration. During trades or when jump resetting, aim lower around the legs or feet. Aiming low in these circumstances improves your reach consistency, jump resetting, and also hit reg. If your enemy is already in the air, keep aiming at their feet to avoid missing hits entirely. The most common and reliable pickup reset method is the hit select. If you think you're going to be hit, or are going to walk into the opponent's reach, you perform a hit select while you are comboing them. Timing your hit so you hit directly after you get hit will mean that you can keep the combo, but if they hit you right after, you will lose the combo. You might know how to jump reset and hit select, but what is that without utilities? Your blocks, projectiles, and mechanics are your greatest weapons. So today, I'll be teaching you how to master block resetting, how to perfectly use projectiles, ender pearls seamlessly, use blocks, and even some secrets only top players know. This applies for any device. Block resetting is a way in which you can fully negate any knockback you take. You do this by perfectly timing your block placement directly under you as soon as you get hit. You almost have to predict them hitting you. If you find it difficult to place the block, this might be because of your opponent's hitbox. Incorporate W and S taps to avoid this. Also, Make sure to hit them as soon as you place the block, or you will end up taking more damage than necessary. These work very well on side islands, when you don't want to take knockback. Blocks are also amazing for being able to reach further. If your opponent is running, you can place blocks to raise yourself above the ground to get closer to your opponent. This can also help you avoid obstacles like other blocks, ponds or other players, while keeping high momentum as you constantly jump. By placing blocks in front of someone, you can fully stop their momentum, letting you get a combo if you distance properly. Also, if they go up onto the block, you can use low ground to get loads of extra hits, or use projectiles to instantly initiate a pickup. Head hitters are underrated. With a block above your head, you take basically no knockback. You can use the terrain to create your own. Always trying to use these in any fight, and be careful not to give your opponent head hitters when you try to make one. Place them directly above your head, not 3 to 4 blocks in front of you. Some people love to run in redstone, so why not place a block above it? This stops them from mining it, letting you go aggro and kill them. By saving some crumbling cobblestone to bridge with, it can make it very hard to chase you. Also, you can block exits for a bit with crumbling cobblestone, as it's impossible to mine. When using projectiles, you need to keep your distance from your opponent. If you don't, the projectile will be rendered useless. So, that's why having around 3 to 4 blocks in between or walking backwards before you use one can ensure you don't get hit. But you have to make sure you continue to hit them. So, that's why W tapping to regulate spacing and also strafing will make it harder for them to hit you while you start your combo. When aiming projectiles, try predicting their movement to ensure more consistent connections. Snowballs are most effective when someone is near the edge or low. It's basically a waste most of the time to use snowballs when your opponent is high health and not close to the void. They are best used to pressure your opponent while they are low to make sure you kill them. You can always use snowballs mid-combo to extend the distance you knock them back. This is especially useful on sides. Bows are amazing for any time in a fight. You use them by briefly loading them. You don't need to pull them fully back. But if you do, that does 1 heart of damage instead of 0.5. They are best used to try get combos and also prevent people from mining redstone or check people's health. The goal with arrows is to mainly use them for combo starters, not dealing damage. Don't be afraid to use your bow 2 times quickly to get a combo. Also, usually you wait for your opponent to bow first, then counterattack with your own shot. Ender pearls are one of the most versatile items in Skywars, so I'll be teaching you everything about them. You can aggro in many ways. Most of the time you want to use your ender pearls to kill someone after they ran, so they should be on half a heart. This is where prediction comes in. If you don't ender pearl fast enough, your opponent will get redstone, so make sure you read the situation and think of the most likely location that your opponent will ender pearl to or run toward. You don't want them to be out of your reach. You can aggro mid-fight by preventing someone from mining redstone. If you are on the side island, you can catch someone off guard by suddenly ender pearling onto them. You can also use them to dodge hits and confuse opponents, but it's not usually worth it. Escaping fights is key. Here's how to. It's recommended you pearl to a side island. This means someone can't just run and catch up to you. Once at the side island, grab a redstone while also strafing and also looking at what your opponent is doing. Placing blocks if you know that someone is going to ender pearl can be key, as their pearl can hit the blocks instead of you, and they fall into the void. Also, if you know that your opponent will be half a heart if they pearl, you can swing back and surprise them as soon as they land. When using boomboxes, you want to place them in a way that is super unavoidable, either trapping your opponent or placing it behind them. Red boomboxes are very good for side islands. Poison is amazing for when players are low, doing a maximum of 4 ticks, which is 2 hearts, either getting them into bowing range or you can ender pearl onto them. Gaps are incredibly overpowered. If you mine 5 redstone and eat a gap, you'll end up having 7 absorption hearts. Also, they provide some insane regeneration. Using blocks to create obstacles that confuse your opponents. This makes it easy to get extra hits and also start combos. You can also mine blocks to surprise your opponents. Also, movement is key to counter projectiles. Having an unpredictable strafe pattern can really help dodging projectiles. One of the most overpowered things in Skywars is the no damage pearl. When on a heart or lower, you can mine up to 2 redstone and pearl without taking any damage. You can see why this would be super overpowered. In this video, I'm going in depth on how to master movement and momentum in trades, explaining angles, distancing, and how to adapt to any playstyle so you can get the edge over your opponent. If you find this video helpful, make sure to subscribe. Being predictable in fights is one of the worst things you can do, so let's fix that. The first step is finding a strafe style that fits your hotkeys, your playstyle, and the type of player you're fighting. But what exactly is a strafe style? It's the intentional use of left and right movement to create a pattern that makes you harder to hit, while helping you line up cleaner hits. Strafing angles are huge in PvP, and they tie directly into momentum. The longer you strafe, the harder it usually is for your opponent to hit you. But if you strafe too wide, you kill your momentum completely and end up getting comboed. That's why mixing in W or S taps to regulate your strafes is key. Here, I long strafed into a trade. My opponent stopped their momentum, which let me get close and perform a clean hit select. Most people only move left or right. If someone is sprint spamming into you, a quick S tap keeps spacing and lets you time your hit instead of trading brainlessly. Just be careful not to full walk backwards when you're about to get hit, because you'll instantly get comboed. There are a ton of strafe styles, but here are some of the most effective. Last second. Strafe in at a 45-degree angle, then change the direction right before getting hit. Small change. Strafe one way, and then switch just for a split second mid-strafe, then switch back. Switcher. Quickly changing directions. This can really throw people off, but don't do it too fast. The sudden change briefly kills your momentum. Momentum fades are when you purposely let your sprint momentum die to reset spacing or mess with your opponent's timing. Normally, you're always sprinting forward or strafing at full speed. But if you suddenly stop sprinting for half a second, your opponent's hits will whiff because they're swinging where you should be, not where you actually are. The trick is not to overdo it. It is pretty predictable, and also standing still for too long, you'll just get comboed. But used at the right time, a momentum fade forces a miss and gives you the opening to reset or win the trade. The best players don't stick to one movement style, they consistently switch things up. Practice chaining different strafes, mix in momentum fades, and make sure you're unpredictable. The goal is to make your opponent's hits inefficient, not to avoid every single hit. Hit selecting is a little different from fading momentum. I covered it fully in my last video, but to put it simply, by hitting second, you can carry more momentum into a trade, which lets you start a combo. So, how do you counter predictable players? Against straight liners, use diagonal long strafes, S taps, or momentum fades. Against heavy strafe abusers, use short, controlled strafes that carry more momentum into your hits. You can also break momentum with utilities, snowballs, bows, or even blocks. By placing a block or snowballing them, you can gain a momentum advantage over them. Being predictable. Repeating the same strafe pattern 2 or 3 times in a row makes you easy to read if your opponent catches on, and you'll lose the trade every time. So, always keep your momentum in mind, stay unpredictable and avoid these bad habits. I'll make a full video on ping later, but here's the quick version. On high ping, straight lining is usually better. Strafing too much makes you miss hits, but going straight means you hold momentum longer. It is also recommended to hit select on high ping. Because you take your knockback a little bit later, it really helps that you hit select because you can be closer to your opponent. In Minecraft, a lot of players think all you need to win fights is high CPS and good aim. But the truth is that's only part of it. What really separates the good players from the best is game sense. So, in this video, I'm going to help you go from someone who keeps getting outplayed to being the one who controls the tempo of every fight and comes out on top. Most of the time when pros win fights, it's not just because they click fast. It's because they make smart, well-calculated decisions. PvP is more strategic than people think, and if you train your game sense, you'll suddenly start to beat players that once rolled you. Game sense is all about predicting your opponent, reading the situation and making the right play every time. One easy way to improve your game sense is just by learning the game properly. This means understanding how the physics work, things like knockback, reach and momentum. And just to add, I'll be making an in-depth tutorial on those things soon, so make sure to subscribe to not miss it. Even though it sounds basic, it actually helps more than you might think, as knowing what damage different items like boomboxes, ender pearls and fireballs do will help you perform better plays. This also means learning the maps. This means you know where to go and where not to go in different situations. You'll know where you can run to heal or where to hit someone off. But you might be asking me, how do I learn these things? And how do I know where to go on certain maps? Most of these questions are going to be answered later in the video, so let's keep going. Another powerful thing you can do is record your own fights. Watch them back and look at what went wrong. Where did the opponent outplay you? And why are you lower than your opponent? This will help you naturally learn how to counter things. Focus especially on your losses. Those are the best games to learn from. Once you find your weak spots, work on fixing them one at a time. Over time, you'll start seeing improvements. To give yourself more options in fights, learn as many techniques as possible. Things like head hitters, aggro pearling, strafing techniques, quick bowing, hit selecting and using pearls and snowballs. Also, ask good players for tips. Most of them are happy to help. So please comment down below anything you want answers on. You can always join my Discord server. Focus as much as you can on perfecting the core fundamental skills of whatever you're playing, so everything you do is as quick as possible. Knowing when to go aggressive and when to play defensive is super important, and it all comes down to adapting. When you're playing, don't just autopilot. React to what's happening. If the player you're fighting is unpredictable, don't panic. Adapt. If they pull off a crazy move, like baiting you with a fake redstone mine or running, don't fall for it again. Figure out what they did and counter it next time. For example, if they turn to bait, snowball instantly and get the first hit. That's what game sense is. Watching the best players helps a lot, but only if you watch intentionally. Watch raw, uncut PvP fights from top players and pay attention to what they're doing and why. Analyze the way they close down their opponents by predicting, to give them no breathing room. Great examples are Danny Plays and Savage Cabbage. The way they pre-pearl on their opponents and use boomboxes, and also the times they decided to use projectiles are top tier. A good example is a breakdown by ZXTime, where he analyzes a video from Danny Plays. It shows exactly how to study gameplay and break down decisions. You should be doing the same. Teamfights require a lot more practical game sense and much quicker thinking. Here's how you develop insane game sense in teamfights. First off, stop splitting. If you and your teammates are wandering off in different directions, you're asking to get picked off and 2v1'd. Stick together and most importantly, communicate. Even simple calls like behind you or pearl on that guy, and even let me tank real quick, you need to heal, can save the whole fight. Make sure you keep updating your teammates on how low your opponents are and where they are, and also what you are doing and how low you might be. If a boombox is placed, make sure to call if it's yours or not. Positioning in a team fight is just as important as in a 1v1, but now you have to think as in a unit. If you're low, rotate out and let a teammate tank while you heal quickly. Or use pearls to cut off escapes, not just chase kills. You see, focusing on one player can be insanely overpowered if they are low, so I'll be showing you how to do that. Firstly, we've got switching. Take turns swapping aggro. One teammate takes focus, then backs off while the other cleans up. Then we've got pinching. Approach fights from opposite angles to confuse and collapse opponents. Then we've got clean calls. If someone's on 3 hearts, say it and focus them together. Player swapping. By changing who you are fighting, it will confuse your opponents immensely, making it super easy to get free combos and hits. Good teamfights aren't chaotic. They're controlled, planned, just like 1v1s, but smarter. Here's a few bonus things you can do that make a big difference. Play fights with one focus at a time, like just working on strafing, or staying calm. Learn to read panic in your opponent, wild pearls and hesitation. If you make your opponent stall, this creates a perfect time to aggro, because you may have got an extra redstone than them. And remember, sometimes the smartest play is to reset, not force a losing fight. So, if you take time to really understand the game, study your fight and adapt every time you lose, you'll become the player no one can outsmart. After hundreds of Skywars matches playing against drag clickers, I as a time clicker have been able to beat and stand up to some insane drag clickers. So I thought it was finally time to tell you how to fight a drag clicker. This tutorial is all about explaining how you can fight in the best possible way against any drag clicker, giving you the best possible chance to win. Firstly, the main reasons why drag clicking is so good because it excels in good hit reg, combos and block clutching. It was fully explained in my last video. What to do against drag clickers. Drag clicking excels in close trades because of the perfect hit registration and getting and holding combos. So, to counter the most overpowered part of drag clicking, you want to space as much as possible, so they can't hit you as soon as you leave the hit cooldown. Adding in momentum fades to your passive playstyle makes it hard for them to aim at you and also can ruin their drag rhythm, giving you a good opening to jump reset. I made a whole video on momentum, it's right here in the top right, go check that out. Drag clickers will usually try to get a 3-block hit to start with, as that is normally the best way to start any trade. With this information, you need to try bait them as much as possible into trying to hit you. You can do this by suddenly strafing or holding S while using a projectile or getting them stuck behind a block. Remember, they have almost perfect hit registration, so you can't just run at them thinking you can win a jump reset every time. This is where you need good projectiles and blocks. By using your projectiles and blocks well, you can avoid close contact PvP, stopping their momentum constantly and also giving possibilities for combos. The one thing you have to watch is your spacing. Drag clickers will sometimes hit you back unexpectedly, so make sure you practice and fully know your spacing and hit range. This is why not changing your field of view too much can really help you learn. One of the best ways to kill a drag clicker is boxing them or trapping them or fighting them in a closed off space. The lack of combo space and also possibility for 3-block hits makes it much easier for you to kill them. This also prevents them from running, which is what drag clicking is also amazing for. What not to do against drag clickers? Never full sprint into a drag clicker. Chances are you will lose the trade most of the time. Also, never get high ground against the drag clicker. The 3-block hits they can get makes it almost impossible for you to hit them, and if they get you into a combo, well, good luck getting out of that. The increased hit reg makes it super hard to run, also if they use blocks to catch up. Sometimes you try to hit back when being comboed. Doing this against drag clickers usually does nothing, as they can control you at 3 blocks. This is why running and placing blocks usually is the most effective, as if you don't run, they can still hit you. And there you go, that's a short tutorial on how to play against a drag clicker as well as you probably could. Having quick and fast hotkeys in Minecraft PvP is necessary to become good. So today I'll be showing you the best way to get perfect hotkey setups for keyboard and controller. These items need to be hotkeyed to quickly to get the most value out of them. They consist of snowballs, ender pearls, lava buckets, and bows and blocks. They will consist of keys like Q, X, C, 1 and 2. There are a good few more, but for the sake of this video, I'll only focus on a few. These items don't need lightning fast hotkeys, but they are used a lot. They are mainly for switching comfortably. This includes swords, pickaxes, boomboxes, and blocks. These will be more like G, C, 3, R, and mouse buttons. Something that sits in your hotbar until the right moment, like a golden apple, or a spell, or a fireball. These can be anything really, just make sure you're not wasting the hotkey that could be used for something better. Now, with this information, we can start constructing our basic hotbar hotkeys. Let's start with 5 priority keys. We'll start with F, Q, C, mouse button, and X. You can see I have snowballs and blocks on my bow in 3 of my priority ones. Now, let's choose 3 secondary essentials. 1, mouse button, and backslash. Now we have 1 passive item, G, for my pickaxe. And that is my hotkey setup. I've been able to learn every hotkey, so now all of them are at the speed of a priority hotkey. But starting off with the easier keys for your priority ones is what you want to do, and then you will learn to make others faster. So, what I recommend if you want to learn hotkeys is change around about 2 to 1 hotkeys from where you are now and just fully learn them. You'll suck for a few days and completely fat finger them a lot of the time, but it won't take long before you get the hang of it. The one thing that will stop you from learning them is giving up. Ping in Minecraft, believe it or not, is one of the biggest determining factors on how your fights will play out. Ping is the time it takes for the server to register a movement, position, or action from your end. The speed in which you register with the server can determine your knockback, hit registration, and movement. So here are the effects. With a low ping, below 70, all of your inputs pretty much happen instantly. which means time clicking and hit selection work well, as you can carry lots of momentum. Contrasting from that, you have high ping, above 120. Now, at this ping range, movements become more inconsistent. This means some of your hits can ghost or take knockback late, resulting in knockback ghosts. So, how do you play with low or high ping to get the best outcome? With low ping, you want to abuse the fact your hits register all the time. So go in for quick hit selects and jump resetting as soon as you hear your player hit sound. Use movement to your advantage, as you can maintain a lot of momentum as your knockback never builds up. Use methods like time clicking to mimic the effects of drag clicking. But really, you don't need to play a certain way on low ping. Most things work. With high ping, however, you want to go for the first hit usually, to carry as much momentum as possible. To possibly get an extra third hit, hit selects don't work well, as you take longer to regain momentum and your jump resets need perfect timing, which make hit selects less efficient, but they still work. Stay as close to your opponent as possible, because with high ping you can launch back at odd times because of the delay, putting you out of the hit range. So jump reset a little early and try not to give them too much space. Time clicking won't work well, as you can easily miss the hit cooldown, losing you a fight instantly. So keep a consistent CPS over 12 if possible. For low ping players, there isn't much, just focus on jump resets and hit selects. While high ping, you want to also go in for the first hit, to make it harder for them to keep their momentum, and make it harder for them to get close to you. You want to distance yourself well, as they normally get loads of reach hits if they hit you consistently. If you want to check your ping, you can go onto the servers tab and wait for the ping counter to load. It should say if you have low, high, or like medium ping. Or you can type this into your command prompt. Even if you know information, the best way to get better on any ping or just anything on Minecraft is to practice and be consistent. And also try lots of new things to see what works best for your playstyle. Just have a goal and focus on it and you'll see improvements.